Hey friend, I hope you have your coffee. We have to talk. So I haven't really talked about this part of my life with you, but I feel like it's something that's really needs to be talked about. Caregiving. So around like 2024, God enrolled me in the strong soldiers category. Why? I don't know. I want to unsubscribe immediately um, to being a caregiver. So my grandma was diagnosed with dementia and it has progressed. I can't tell you, child, it hasn't been an easy road. My grandma, before she moved down here with us, she was able to, walk, move around. But then I would say later within that year, she stopped walking. And because she stopped walking, she wasn't able to, take a bath on her own. She wasn't able to use the bathroom. So we had to get diapers. We had to give her baths. It's just been a struggle. And then, a lot of people will say, like, why don't you find like a home health aide? That was another issue. Finding a good home health aide that gives quality care and then also actually showing up was also a struggle. We went through, I think, about maybe like four, five. And, I was just so frustrated with my mom. I said, you know what, forget it. I'll become the home health aide. And, and that's what I did. And guys, it hasn't been easy. I've always seen my grandma as a strong person, but to see her in her most vulnerable state is hard. I always saw my grandma strong. My grandma, even though she had really bad arthritis, she was able to do stuff like go to church. She loved the thrift store. She was a heavy thrift store lover, and she would drag me to go with her. And now to see her in this most vulnerable state is hard. And because I feel like, it's crazy. I thought like, when I get 28, I wouldn't need my grandma as much, but I feel like I need her now. Navigating life and trying to figure out, what to do with life, how to move. I feel like I need my grandma's wisdom, and now that she is not completely here, is hard. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like it's like missing someone, but the person's actually physically there. It's like my grandma's personality has changed a lot. She's more quiet. And for those, and you don't know my grandma, but my grandma was very extroverted. She can make a friend with anybody. And, she would talk so much. Even when I was young, I was like, why is she talking so much? But now, as I've gotten older, it's like, dang, I wish I could hear my grandma to have a conversation with my grandma, to have her thoughts about her, how she sees the world, how she sees my family. It's hard. And I had a lot of guilt, guys. I had a lot of guilt about not really having an awareness of my grandma's diagnosis. I went to pharmacy school. They taught us about dementia, but to not really know, like, dad, she actually had dementia all this time. And I felt like, oh, grandma, she's just getting old. She just keeps asking about the time, or her moods, like her personality shifted. She shifted from being extroverted to extremely introverted, where she didn't want to be around people. And something in me should have been like, you know what, something's up. So yeah, it's been a very tough journey. And the one thing I always look forward to when seeing my grandma is when we do hymns, and she will say the words, and it's like, my grandma's still in there. And and that's the one thing I look forward to a lot. So I talk about caregiving because even though we're so used to social media, life improvement, the next makeup trend, but we don't talk about the reality of aging. Aging is hard. Seeing my grandma go through her battle with Alzheimer's, and then also seeing my grandma's loved one, her friends pass away, that's hard. So I think we should talk about it more. And I think it's very difficult. But I think the one thing I should, if you know someone who is a caregiver, not ask them, what can I do? Actually show up. Because being a caregiver requires me to show up on days I don't want to show up. Some days I don't want to be bothered. I'm just going to be honest. Some days it's hard. I don't want to be bothered, but I still have to show up because my grandma needs me. So I would suggest show up for that person. Actually, have the actions and the follow through to show up for that person, because they need all the help, all the support, all the love, all the advice, because this is hard. And being in healthcare, I know the like the medical language, so to speak, but I couldn't imagine going through this and not having any knowledge about it. I would be so overwhelmed. So I say my hats, my kudos to every single caregiver, because it is not easy. It is very hard. And, to know all the medications, know all the side effects, know everything. I commend you, because it is not easy. So yeah, so if you are a caregiver, definitely let me know in the chat. Also, if you are a coffee lover, what are you drinking today? But I really want to talk about this because it's important.